Alright, now that I've got the Mrs. A-OK, I'm ready to start with color. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my sleeves up here. I do not want to get chalk on my shirt. These chalk pastels are the same kind that we're going to use in a few weeks when the street painter comes. These are special chalk pastels that are made especially for artists who do chalk drawings outside on the street. That means they have a lot of color in them, or pigment. It's very concentrated, so you'll get nice bright colors. So I'm going to go ahead and start on my Starry Night, and I want to start with the lightest colors first. So I think I'm going to start with my stars. And because they are so small, it's okay for me to take the chalk pastel and just fill them in. But you can see all the dust that's being caused by just coloring in a chalky shape. So anything that's bigger or wider than my thumb, I'm not going to color it in solid. Now, to get the chalk dust off, I'm just going to take it to the side of the table and wiggle it just a little bit. Hear that? So that the chalk dust comes off. I don't want to wipe it off because it'll smudge across my paper, and I don't want to blow it off because if I do that, all that dust goes up into the air, and people who are sensitive to dust will sneeze and cough, especially your favorite art teacher. So, here we go. Oh, you know what I noticed about my design? I really want that line to be in color, but it's a spaghetti line, so I've got to fatten it up a little bit if it's going to be in color. Let's just fatten it up a little bit. I really don't have to worry about any color that goes off onto the tan paper. I only need to worry about the color that is on this paper here, the white paper. Alright, so let's pick another color. How about this nice bright yellow? This will be nice for the area around my moon. And I'm going to put a little bit of color in here, outline my moon, and then I'm going to use my finger and I'm going to blend it in. Because all that chalk dust is really color or pigment, and it will do a super job of filling up the white space. I don't have to keep grinding this pastel. I can use my finger to fill up the white spaces. This technique is called blending. I think I would like this bright yellow also on my line. Now again, a line is a line, right? It's hard to outline a line. So I'm going to just put the color right in the middle, and then I'm going to take my finger right over the top. You'll notice that sometimes my pencil lines get involved. That usually only happens with yellow. Okay. Now, for the Starry Night, I think I need a darker sky background. So I want my wings to be just a little bit different. So let's see. Maybe the lighter blue on the bottom and the darker turquoise on the top. I'm going to go ahead and outline my wing shape. This will help keep the chalk inside the shape. Again, I'm not really too worried about anything back there. I'm going to outline my moon shape, or the circle that is my moon is in. Now it's really important, if you notice, that I'm keeping my hand up off of the surface. I'm not laying my hand down. It's not resting on the table. I've got it up off the table. And the reason that I do that is so that I don't accidentally rub some of this blue into my beautiful yellow color that I already have. Ooh, look what happened. I had a little bit of yellow on my finger, and when I blended the blue, what color did it turn? That's right, it turned green. That doesn't bother me too much though. Now I can add some other colors if it's not quite dark enough and I want it to be just a little bit darker in some places. I can always add a little bit of a darker blue and blend that right in as well. Chalk is a fast medium. That means it covers quickly. And of course, it doesn't need to dry. But that doesn't mean that you can work quickly with it. it means that you have to be extra careful and take your time. I'm going to do my other forewing, and I'm going to turn my paper upside down. The reason I turn my paper upside down is so that I don't accidentally rub my hand on that other beautiful wing that is just the way I like it. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit more dark around this right here. I think it needs a little dark. A little bit of darkness. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and add that in right there. A little bit of darkness. Finish outlining. Now that my wings are all finished, I'm ready to start on the body. I like to use some neutral colors on the body, some nice browns, but some bodies have lighter colors. I might put a little bit of yellow marking. This is sort of a gray color. Whoops. Sorry about that. Bumped the camera. I'm going to go ahead. I want to make sure that you can still tell that these parts are different. So I'm going to add some, let's put some yellow stripes in here. Oh, I got some powder on my wings. I don't want that. Shake, shake, shake. There we go. Some things don't need blended. Sometimes you can just pat, 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 and it'll make the little pieces of chalk touch down where they're supposed to be. I need to make that a little lighter. Let's see. Oh, here's some white. That'll work. Perfect. Love it. Now, notice I haven't done anything with my antenna, and that's because those are going to be done very last, after I do my background shapes, my negative space. Now, I've got a lot of chalk on my fingers, and since water and chalk are very bad combinations, I'm going to use a dry tissue. I can just rub my fingers on the tissue, and you can see it's going to come off. It's not going to make my hand look clean, but it does make it so that no chalk is transferring, well, if I don't touch the chalk. Okay? Now I'm ready for my background color. Now I can automatically rule out some colors that I don't want for my background, because I do want contrasting colors, and blue and yellow are contrasting colors to each other and make my butterfly look very colorful and beautiful. However, I don't want to use those same colors in the background. So since I have a lot of cool colors in my butterfly, I may consider a warmer color for the background. Blue's complementary color on the color wheel, opposite from the color blue, is orange. So maybe something in the orange family would be nice. Or I could use something really bright like magenta. I certainly don't want to use green because there are a lot of green tones from where my yellow and blue mix. So let's try orange. I'm going to test it out here on the edge. Oh yeah, I think that'll be nice. I'm going to outline my negative shapes first so that I can blend away from my butterfly's wings. I don't want to get orange in my butterfly that I've worked so hard on. So I'm going to add some colors out here. I might even make it a little bit darker on the edge. I'm going to grab some red because yellow and red make orange. So I'm going to grab some red, kind of give it that feeling of maybe movement. And I'm going to blend away from my butterfly's wings. I don't want to rub that orange up into that beautiful blue because it'll make brown. Now, if I want to add a little bit more red or a little bit more color, I can use my chalk on the side, gently rub it, and then blend it in, and it will get rid of some of those lines that I left. Ooh, that looks nice. Now I'm going to turn my butterfly, again, because I don't want my hand to rest on the chalk. It's very mobile. That means the chalk wants to move around, which is good when you're adding it, but not so great if you don't want it to move around, right? All right, here's another negative shape. Negative space shape, so let's outline that. Notice I'm not Again, not coloring it in solid. Don't really need to color it in solid because when I blend it, it gets rid of all of that white space and makes that nice, beautiful color. Really like the streaks that I'm getting by adding a second color to the background. Whoops, don't need that pink. Let's toss that out of there. Now, this is a really big negative space, but I'm going to make it smaller so that it's easier for me to deal with. I'm going to go right over these antennae. Watch this. Don't freak out. Oh, she went right over her antenna. What is she thinking? My finished butterfly. Now the last detail that I need to add are my antenna, and I'm going to do that very carefully. I'm going to use a dark color, but probably not black. Black is a very powerful color in chalk, and sometimes it can get all over the place. If I make a mistake with brown and orange are close enough that I can add a little bit of orange and blend this away. But if I make a mistake in black, it's going to make my background look very dark and dirty. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the darkest brown I can. I'm going to bring my antenna up here, and then I'm going to go ahead and make the little balls so you can clearly tell that this is a butterfly. Pat, pat, pat. And I'm going to shake that extra dust right off. And there is my dark moon butterfly. Dun, dun, dun. I think she looks fabulous. Now, once you've gotten to this point, you need to get the Mrs. A-OK before you can be completely finished. Once you've gotten the Mrs. A-OK and it's been checked that you have indeed filled in all of the negative spaces as well as the positive spaces, you might even need to go back and add, fix some smudging that may have happened. So I can see some smudging here that I need to come back and fix a little bit of. I might want to add a little bit of yellow to brighten up that moon a little bit. All right, now it is all completely finished. With the Mrs. A-OK, that means that I can gently peel it off the tape. Remember, I told you this was going to come off. Dun, dun, dun. Just like that. This paper is now recycled paper, so I'm just going to fold it in half. And half again so the chalk doesn't leak out. Take it to the recycle bin. This is finished, so you can go ahead and take it to the Artsonia photographing station for it to be photographed and uploaded right now by you.